Hi, it's Erik and welcome to our video conversation this week. Recently, I had the opportunity to host about 20 of our best and brightest students who applied at some of our military academies. They're waiting for the nominations to come through to hopefully become appointments, so we'll be learning more about that in the future, but it is great to see these young people become future leaders of our country in the military. Now we're going to get to our questions, and the first actually is an email that came in from Jeffrey in Edina. And Jeffrey writes in, "Dear Mr. Paulsen, America's seniors are facing a Medicare policy loophole that can cost them hundreds of unexpected dollars for trying to protect themselves from colorectal cancer, the second leading cause of death from cancer. The stories from patients who have received this unexpected bill are preventing others from getting life-saving and cancer-preventing colorectal cancer screening. Please do all you can to fix this loophole. Sincerely, Jeffrey." Jeffrey, thanks for sharing your concerns. Actually, colorectal cancer is now the second leading cause of cancer death in America. It impacts a lot of different families and a lot of different people. And there is an easy preventative measure to catch this cancer early on for treatment. Unfortunately, that treatment is, of course, getting a colonoscopy or an early screening. But unfortunately, Medicare has also not been covering the costs after the screening for many of the instances where follow-up care is actually needed. We are going to close that loophole, hopefully. I've signed on to legislation that will make sure that Medicare does a cost sharing with the patient. That'll prevent and make sure that the seniors are not going to be adversely prevented from making sure they're going to be cared for, or that they have that screening followed up to prevent that type of cancer from taking place. Next up is an email again that comes in from Curtis in Eden Prairie, who writes in, "Dear Congressman Paulsen, at a time when the U.S. is a leader in combating human trafficking, the United States should also be preventing those around the world from becoming vulnerable. Preventing and responding to trafficking through community-based approaches can protect vulnerable people from abuse, neglect, exploitation, and violence. Please do what you can to support policies to crack down on trafficking. Thank you for the work that you do, and I look forward to your response, Curtis." Curtis, thanks for letting me know of your support. We've had a lot of stories about human trafficking put on the front pages of the paper, instances that happen right in the Twin Cities and in Minnesota, for instance. However, it is a problem worldwide. About 21 million people actually, are into forced labor trafficking. And that's the start of other human trafficking. One thing that we did this week is the House passed a bipartisan bill because labor trafficking often comes from these unscrupulous actors that are trying to recruit workers from other countries, and they do so putting a huge recruitment fee. And what happens is these victims, they can't pay back that fee. It's such a large dollar amount. So the legislation we passed makes sure that the State Department will issue guidelines for other countries on what these unscrupulous actors, making sure that they're going to be educated, that the countries are being educated, and sort of policing this, and an education level moves forward to that we halt the large numbers of labor trafficking that's occurring around the world. Hopefully that legislation will move forward not only out of the House now, but into the Senate. I want to thank all of you taking the time to join this week for our questions. Feel free to follow up with your own thoughts, your ideas, your comments as we start off the new year. You can reach me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, or of course at paulsen.house.gov.